Welcome back. Namibia, like many nations worldwide, marked the International Day of the Midwife on the 5th, underscoring the essential role midwives play in promoting the health and welfare of women and newborns. This occasion served as a poignant reminder of the indispensable contributions made by midwives, while also emphasizing the critical need for ongoing support, acknowledgement and investment in midwifery care. To provide further insight into the significance of this important observance within the local context, in studio we are joined by Analois Penduka as well as Helena Amalenge, who are members of the Independent Midwives Association of Namibia. Ladies, good evening and welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Perhaps just to begin with, Helena, you could provide a brief overview of the Independent Midwives Association of Namibia. There might be some viewers who are unfamiliar with it.
All right. So when we talk about the Independent Association of Namibia, we call it IMANA in short. So this is a professional association which serves the interest of Namibians. So what we do in this association was formed in 2014. It's a voluntary association which was formed by a midwife, Hilma Shikwambi, following her attendance in Paraguay, a conference for midwives in Paraguay, which then she felt that there's a need for midwives in Namibia to network and just have somewhere where they belong, and also just to be involved in the exchange of knowledge globally. So this, she then felt, she picked the team of members that she felt they were highly dedicated and also passionate about the midwifery profession at large, and then they set up this association which aims at promoting midwifery profession, educating and supporting its members, and mostly it's just to promote the health and the child health and maternal outcome of any woman around the country. So it was mostly just to get it there.
Just for interest's sake, how many midwives do we have in Namibia? It's not a profession that you hear of every day. Yes, Analois?
I was going to answer that later, but yeah. So according to the Ministry of Health and Social Services, in 2020 we had approximately 8,000 midwives in Namibia, and this number has steadily been growing currently. And so, but for some reason, because it's a global crisis for healthcare workers all over, just as well at Namibia, we're struggling with having enough midwives as well because of so many other reasons that I can explain now already, like the lack of training, low salaries, the lack of resources. Things like that have actually led to the dwindling numbers of midwives. People train or they're no more attracted to it. And obviously we have also instances where we have the younger people facing communal reputation of nurses that is not really adequate or is not pleasing for them to actually be attracted to the profession. But all of those things round up to we want training, we want autonomy. So I think let me answer that question a bit later when we come back to the motivation of why we're actually here.
How can this matter be addressed? I do understand the WHO also predicted that by 2030 there's going to be such a big shortage, 4.5 million nurses, a shortage of that, and 0.31 million midwives. So talk to us about how we can address this matter.
So first I want to just say our role as midwives cannot be understated. I think continuously communities, even especially in reproductive healthcare services, these are the less talked about people in our healthcare services. So what we need as midwives, which is why we're here of course, is what we need autonomy to practice in the healthcare services. We need to actually have to sit in tables where we are able to provide decision making that actually lead to policy making of healthcare services for maternal healthcare. We want to be able to have incentives and to have resources that actually promote the healthcare services and promotion of training and education of midwives. There are platforms where you see that currently with our the carbon footprint, which is why our theme for this year is a midwife, a vital climate role. We have now seen that 5% 50% of the carbon footprint in the world is actually contributed to by healthcare services. So putting a midwife who's the first care for our mothers and our babies at the forefront of sustainability, of them being part of the climate change, would actually help to reduce this carbon footprint. And we can go on to explain what this means in the healthcare services. But giving voices to midwives, giving them remuneration that is actually attractive, providing them with enhancing their appearance in the community, being noticed, being given a voice, are things that we can talk about that can enhance the profession and attract more people to actually come for training. And so upskilling our midwives. We have a lack in the rural services, where in the rural services we are actually struggling because there are reduced number of skilled birth attendants in the rural services. People are attracted more obviously to urbanization, but we want them to actually be sent more to the rural services where they need more help. They need more skilled people to be there. And currently the government has actually done so much about it by incentivizing more people to go to the rural services. And we want more and more training, obviously, and resources for that.
Fantastic. I want to talk about this year's theme, which is quite interesting, Midwives, a Vital Climate Solution. Let's talk about that in a Namibian context. Helen, sure.
Initially, what we are trying to say, so in this, the theme of the year initially is just trying to strengthen that we can do so much despite any climate issues. So we can do the most for the woman and the newborns despite that, and also we can do it by also saving our surroundings. It's like providing nappies to mommy, not the one that we can throw. So it's just to enhance those things. So it's just to say we have a role in playing that. So those are the most things that we look at if we are putting that theme of the year to that. And mostly what we are looking into this year is more on evidence-based, and we are looking into the researchers just to present for us the research, and then just for us to incorporate that in our health systems or while we are rendering our care, because then it helps them just to make sure that the system is also, despite climate changes, we are able to go forward as midwife and deliver the most to the women around us. So
yeah, I think it's also about, as we talked about earlier on, Helen, we talked about naturalization of birth. So instead of having interventions for the mother and the baby, if you have a natural birth, there's reduced plastics and wastages of things that causes more global warming that are going to be used. So the midwife being the first point of contact, who's going to help with the naturalization of birth, natural physiology, unless if there's a complication, of course. But if there's no complication, we would actually want to promote more natural physiology of birth. And that means that we are going to have sustainability. We want to promote more breastfeeding. And if you understand that with breastfeeding, there's nothing that you're going to use except for the mother's breast. And in this context, we want to actually make sure that this is what we promote as midwives. We are at the first point of care after all. So that is going to make sure that the sustenance of the climate. So being at the forefront, we will make sure that there's less wastages, there's less use of plastics. Then the climate, ultimately, we are going to save and reduce the carbon footprint that ultimately the healthcare services are actually part of.
Right. Yeah. Fantastic. Helena, talk to us about the key events that are lined up in commemoration of this day.
On the 11th of May, which is this Saturday, upcoming Saturday, we are looking into celebrating the Day of a Midwife. We couldn't celebrate it on the Sunday, on the 5th, that was the actual date. So we have then the Independent Day of a Midwife as an association who host that, where we are expecting already around about more than 40 midwives to attend the event. So this will be in Windhoek, and it will be hosted in Eros. So I think we have put all our adverts around, and because we have done this hospital visit already last Sunday, where we have already also sent our email to all our members to just tell them about the day that we are going to celebrate. So on the 11th, that's when we would then do our little celebration with all the midwives and just try to get them back in that.
Speaking of the members, for midwives out there that are not part of the association, how can they go forward in terms of becoming having membership?
All right. So what they can do is we have a different website. We have created several WhatsApp groups, and also we have a Facebook page, which is the Independent Midwife Association. That's the name of the Facebook page. So where they can also reach and get to see the events that are happening within the association. However, they can also send us an email at info.imana@gmail.com. That's where we can always then respond to whatever they need, because we can also just what we do have, we have membership. We have our membership that they do pay a fee, annual fee, $300 only, and then we get them into the association, which they get access to all the emails, to all the events that are happening within the association via email, via their WhatsApp groups, and mostly we use email. So as I said, for all the other midwives that do not know of the association and want to really belong to this beautiful association to support them throughout, they can just send us an email at info.imana@gmail.com, and then we'll respond to their need and we'll let them know on how to get or to be part of the association.
Fantastic. Well, just as we're rounding off, Alois, any final remarks you'd like to leave us with?
Well, first, thank you for having us and allowing us to have a voice, which is very important to us. And I just want to emphasize that we need to understand that midwives are crucial for the healthcare services in Namibia and worldwide, actually. And we want the government, every single person, to actually start investing more in the training, in the education, in the resources for midwives. We also want to just remind them that we are pillars, actually, for the sustainability of the climate or of the world. So that is why we are here. We want to remind every single person that the health and the well-being of the children of Namibia actually starts at the beginning, in pregnancy and in birthing and in the postpartum with the midwife. Therefore, we want them to be vital team players and sitting at those decision-making tables in Namibia. So we are hoping and looking forward to be engaged actually by all the professions that actually have anything to do with the healthcare profession. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your time this evening, ladies, and being here. All the best with the activities come Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was Alois Penduka and Helena Amalenge, who are members of the Independent Midwives Association of Namibia, talking to us about the International Day of Midwives, which actually was on the 5th of May, but they will be commemorating it on the 11th of May.